All right, and this week's podcast will be going more in depth on Call of Duty World War II. This is one I played the most. I did the competitive multiplayer, and my manager from work did it for money. So I think this episode should be a very, very, very interesting one to talk about for me and probably for you as well.
Because the COD World War II with Sledgehammer Games making it at the time was seen a bit controversial and stuff. So, especially if I recall correctly, having one of the worst launches in history.
Yeah, it was going down when it first came out.
Yeah. And of course, you got the campaign, multiplayer, zombies.
Yeah, the usual modes.
Usual modes you would see from a Call of Duty.
The campaign, it started off, you're playing as the... I can't remember anyone's name. I'm not good with names. I know you're a blonde guy. That's all I know. My favorite mission out of the entire campaign was D-Day.
I would have to say probably the one where you're infiltrating Paris. I think it's Paris. Could be wrong. It's where you're playing as a different character than the main character, and just going around. It's a bit more of a stealth mission. Bit of a fan of those.
Or which mission was it where they were switching between the tanks and the on-ground troops?
I'm not sure exactly what the mission name was, but remember you're going around a ruined city, battling different tanks and such.
I mean, in most Call of Duties, the vehicle missions are pretty fun, but...
you got your arbitrary turret section, as it always is.
And I like how in the campaign they added the, you can request ammo from different people, or the grenades, or arrow support.
Yeah, they also did health a bit differently, and you had med kits and stuff.
Yep.
Stuff, which, of course, you could get those from your allies, like you was just saying. You could get ammo, grenades, all from just your team of sorts. You had a team of folks.
And all it was a cooldown. It made it usually when you're playing a Call of Duty campaign, you run out of ammo and you just have to pick up a different gun. Even if you're using the gun you started with and it's a good gun. And that it gives you the opportunity to keep using the gun that you're using throughout the campaign, which is pretty nice.
Also, the story, you can hit a bit close with some, especially you got Turner, and there was one other man, I forget what his name was. I believe Turner ends up dying in one mission. And also, forget if this is final mission or not, going through a concentration camp. And it doesn't exactly pull off what World at War did, but it still shows the horrors of the war and such. It's World War II.
Yeah. The multiplayer was... We traded Black Ops Ghost for Black Ops World War II when World War II first came out. So back in, 2017. Whereas Ghost came out in 2013. So we traded the older game for the newer game. For us, it was a deal, but...
And there was also a big jump in graphics between Ghost and World War II. Of course, you had the field of sorts you could run around before starting a multiplayer match. You had the quartermaster, you had contracts and stuff.
The contracts made the game super interesting. You can get the supply crates for doing certain contracts. You get the different skins.
Yeah, at that time, it was still another way you could earn the other stuff instead of just having to buy it.
Yeah. And like we said in last episode, pay to win just brings out the life of a game almost entirely.
A multiplayer, it's got an interesting setup with some of the old guns. Granted, it ain't historically accurate, but when has COD ever truly been historically accurate? It had some pretty nice maps and such. Of course, you got 24/7 shipment.
Yeah, shipment was so fun. I mean, if you were trying to level up shotguns, SMGs, shipment was the place. Shipment, and you do kill, confirm, domination, something kill, 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 kill.
Yeah, nowadays, from what I know, it's there. You got a permanent level or 2 times level up for your division, which of course that's another section of multiplayer's division. You got your soldier, which of course what they look like don't matter too much. It's just purely cosmetic, and you had the divisions of sorts. Each division was its own class, and of course you had your class with your gun and such, your primary and secondary. your lethal, tactical, and then you had your training, which was like an additional perk of sorts.
The training was, I feel like it was better than perks because like it was a little bit more realistic than the perks.
Yeah,
it was like you wore the badges on your arm.
It took a bit of a different spin on it, which I would say it's an interesting multiplayer to play in.
What was your favorite primary gun to use?
Primary gun. I'd have to give that probably to the STG-44.
SG, the Stormgewehr. Yeah. When I was playing multiplayer, I usually used the PPSH or the bar. I mostly used the bar because it was in competitive. When they added the Itra Burst, it just made every ceiling gun competitive awful because the Itra Burst could take out snipers and up close shotguns. So it was just like an all around good gun.
It sort of shows like how things nowadays, we always talk about the meta guns, the meta loadout, the meta attachments. It definitely shows the balance of Call of Duty, which granted, has Call of Duty ever truly been good at balance? Which with the older games, there was a lot more balance. Especially you could see, say, back in the Modern Warfare 2 days, you had the akimbo shotguns.
No, using back in Black Ops 1 when they had the frickin', what was it? They had like 4 rounds. You know, I forget the name. It's like an H something.
I'm not sure what that was. But for multiplayer, you got anything else to add about that?
Mm-hmm. Do you remember any of the skins, like person skins? Like, what was your favorite person skin?
I never got really too far into the multiplayer, I will admit. World War II was not one that I played often. I was more of a Ghost player, Black Ops player. It's still a good game. I will full-heartedly say that World War II is still a good game. Of course, it's a bit competitive, but granted, what Call of Duty doesn't have people sweating all over their controllers and going try hard?
What game doesn't have people sweating over their controllers going try hard?
It's just sort of part of the gameplay and such.
Yeah. You'll get one match where you're just absolutely dominating everyone, and you'll get one where it's like you're 0-17. It just happens.
And of course, we go over to the zombies. Nazi zombies, of course. You had your one main map, which the steps to the Easter egg, they were all laid out in objectives to where it was somewhat clear. Of course, most folks, I wouldn't blame you if you had to search up a guide. Fairly confusing.
I had to search up a guide for my first 3 times of doing it, and then I just got down and just do it. Fighting the last boss was a Panzer Mortar. It was fun in its own aspect, but it was just running in circles for most of the fight.
Had you with zombies with no arms, they'd run at you. They were almost like complete skeletons and stuff.
They were called pests.
Then, of course, you had these giant hulking zombies. Or there's one that I used to like to call Thor, who would just ram at you.
Yeah.
But the ones with bombs on their back, they were crazy. You would either target the bomb or you could kill the zombie, bomb would drop down, which it almost, in a way, sets up like a good trip mine. Now, granted, you'd still have to shoot it, but still an explosive right there in that spot.
And you'd get into later rounds and Brenners respawning. You get into like round, 30, 40, and it'd be like 4 of those guys, 5 of them, 10 of them coming in on one wave. It's just awful.
I still remember one time when I was playing with a group of 4, we ended up going down sadly around wave, let's say probably 17, because we had to deal with Flamethrower, Thor, and a few others. It was just utter chaos.
I, for some reason, didn't know until way later in playing the zombies that you had to shoot him in the back to deal more damage. So I'd sit there and just spray him in the front where he's armored at and just not kill him at all.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest parts, especially when playing solo, trying to go up against those, because who's got to target other than you? But of course, as Gavin had said on the last episode, ain't any game better with friends. It's just sort of how it goes.
Any game, that could be the dumbest game ever, like Boyfriend Dungeon or something like that, and it can be way better with friends.
So it just shows any game that people will preach that sucks. It can all be made fun just with playing around with your friends and such.
Yeah, even if it's like when Battlefields first started coming out and Bad Company, they were all like glitchy and laggy messes, which almost added to the fun to it because you didn't know if you were going to get into a car and it's going to take it off in a different direction. So,
when it comes down to it, of course, you had one map. I'm not sure how you even unlocked it to the stage where you just stood in the house.
Grosvenor House, I think it was like, I had it offline. I didn't have it online. I don't know why. It was weird.
And of course, you had the tutorial to zombies. Especially, you could also transfer points to other players. And the perk system was interesting. You had armor. It wasn't bad overall. And perks weren't too bad. And mystery box, say on one of the free maps, you could easily, after you get inside the bunker, mystery box right there, always in the same location.
Yeah, that was always, it was simple and nice. You just go around and turn the gas valves, get in there.
Which I believe that's also one of the zombies that had weapon customization to where you could level up guns and put attachments on them.
And also, it was nice how in zombies, they still had the supply crates. You could get like killing a certain amount of zombies or opening a certain amount of doors.
And there was contracts for both multiplayer and zombies.
You're always getting a flow of supply crates, be it from zombies or multiplayer. And in zombies, you actually get stuff to help you. You can get like spawn a flamethrower or instantly get something out of the box. So it's just...
Yeah. And I remember you have like these perks of sorts in zombies, which made that also a bit interesting, changed up the gameplay. You could also choose your starter gun, which then you also had these powers of sorts, which of course, granted, were just your perks. Yeah. But your recharge power.
Which character in zombies had your favorite voice lines?
Gonna be honest, I do not know really any of them by name.
Which one? Can you describe them? I know all their names, I think.
Had a bit of glasses, had...
The Scottish guy?
Scottish guy, yeah.
Dude. I would get into fights with my brother over picking him because he was just funny. He was funny.
Anything else to add about zombies, though?
No, that would not do it.
That's going to wrap up today's episode of COD Fun.
You can join us back in next episode. We'll be going over Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's a little out of order, but it should be fun.